Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to TCNewTech's pitch event, July 2020. I'm Jennifer Zunko. I'm the Executive Director of TCNewTech, and we are so happy that you're joining us. We've got a really great lineup of pitches tonight, and I know that you're really going to enjoy this. So I'm going to do a little run through here of our schedule. And I'm using some new technology. Can you tell? There we go. Be patient with us. There we are. And so this is our schedule for tonight. We're going to have 4 5-minute presentations, and then we have a 5 minutes of question answer. So be sure to put your questions in the chat, and we will get those to our presenters. Then in between, we'll have some announcements from some of our community. And if you have anything that you would like to have us present to anybody in the greater Grand Traverse area, maybe you have job openings or something like that that you want to share, let us know in the chat and we'll try to get that information out there. At the end, you'll have 2 minutes to vote on the best pitch. So we'll put up a phone number and you'll be able to text for the best pitch of the night. And now I want to introduce you to our host for all of our virtual TCNewTech events, Lisa Baker-Lawrence. She works for Access Point, and they are one of our supporting sponsors. So I'm going to bring Lisa in right now. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Good evening, everybody.
So, and for anyone that's local and watching this right now, we are going to do something a little different tonight, and we're going to have a pop-up meetup after this event, but we're not going to tell you where. So you have to stick around for the entire presentation, and at the end, we'll tell you where in downtown we're all going to be meeting up. And I'm going to let you take it away from there, Lisa, and continue on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I am happy to be back. I know right now I am stopping my share. Excuse me 1 second. We are, goodness gracious, 1 month and we are flip-flopping all over the place. Hold on, everybody. What I was going to say is worth the wait, I promise. Okay, can you see the slide? You see my face? All right.
There we go.
Okay, good. So everybody, welcome back to TCNewTech. My name is Lisa Baker-Lawrence. Jen, thank you for the warm introduction, and thank you everyone for your patience. We love to be prompt, so I'm going to make this quick. Work with Access Point. We've been supporting sponsors for quite some time, so if you are a startup with your first employee and you need some help with HR, payroll, etc., hit us up. If you're a current existing business, we can help you too. Moving right along, we are a mission of tech enthusiasts. Obviously, with COVID, we all can see and appreciate how technology can help keep us connected. And obviously, it does a whole lot more. With this community, we're able to continue to create a culture of community, both online and in person. So if you missed the introduction from Jen, we're going to be having a meetup later. So stick around to the very end. We're going to let you know where in downtown Traverse City we're going to get together. So there's your first clue. It'll be downtown. If you'd like to join us and become a member, you simply scan one of these QR codes or visit TCNewTech.org. This event has always been and will continue to be free of charge. We typically do get together the first Tuesday of every month in downtown at the City Opera House. Obviously, we've gone virtual. However, joining us in membership of only $20 will get you a t-shirt. It also gets you some voting privileges. It certainly supports the organization because as we all know, it costs money to do even what we're doing here. So we would really appreciate your support. It also gets you onto some newsletters, so you get updates on community information, what's going on with fiber infrastructure, other communities, or committee involvement, and things that are helping move the mission forward. So we encourage you to participate as a paid member. Certainly appreciate tonight the Vine Group. They do wonderful things for business, from consulting on financial services and a variety of other things. Visit their website. They are our $500 pitch prize sponsor this evening. So welcome the Vine Group, and thank you so very much. Michigan Broadband Services has been with us, goodness, for a very, very long time. They provide fiber to local businesses and residents. So if you are in need of that in the area, you're going to see right here how to get a hold of them. So thank you so much, Michigan Broadband Services. And on our founding board, in fact, is Miss Sarah Hunt. And Sarah Hunt also happens to work for Michigan Broadband Services. And below are a list of businesses that they have helped get online with fiber. If you'd like to connect with her, you can. Those phone numbers and contact email above. So a little bit about voting. This is going to happen at the very end of our presentations. We'll be able to let you know what's going on and when it's going to happen. So don't be worried about that, but you're going to need your cell phone. So there is a voting number to text to your vote to. Keep in mind that we are going to give you directions again at the very end, but you're going to want to have that available and ready when the time is. Again, we're getting a very generous $500 sponsor from the Vine Group. So thank you very much. We're going to get right to it, and I'm going to invite Andy and Sebastian Lapointe on with Ag Tracer. Andy and Sebastian, welcome. So here they come.
There we are.
There they are. Hi, guys.
Hi, this is Andy.
I'm Sebastian.
All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and share that screen.
Yep, it's already shared.
All right. This is Andy with Ag Tracer. We're a B2B blockchain solution providing authenticity, traceability, and transparency to the food you eat. So let me ask you a question. How many folks listening on the video today would like to be able to trace back the food they eat all the way back to where it's grown to all the way to your plate? We can raise hands, and I see a lot of you raising your hands, so that's fantastic. And this slide here, now I'm going to share with you how Ag Tracer works. Picture this. You go to your favorite restaurant. As you scan through the menu, you notice those QR codes right next to each item on the menu. And all you need to do is take your mobile phone, scan that QR code, and you're going to be able to see the exact traceability and trackability of every ingredient on that menu, tracing it all the way back to the farm or the manufacturer. And best of all, the information that you're going to learn is any organic certification, any COVID-19 protocols that they have in place, as well as any growing practices. And best of all this information is delivered right on your mobile phone or your computer, and it's delivered in video, audio, or PDF, whatever the manufacturer or the grower wants to provide. So they're providing complete transparency and traceability to the food that you eat. Next slide, please, Sebastian. And our target market are farmers, growers, farm-to-table restaurants, food producers, and distributors. And the benefit to our target market is increases loyalty, market share, and it's verified by an independent third party. And the way it works, as I mentioned, we're in alpha test right now. We're testing right now with our gourmet food company. My partners and I own Traverse Bay Farms. Right on the label, we have the QR codes right here in our alpha test. Again, all you need to do is take your mobile phone, zap that, and you have all that background tracing capability. Next slide, please. And we started AgTracer, Sebastian and I did, based upon consumer demand. And as you can see, consumers are demanding increased transparency. 75% of folks are willing to switch to a brand that provides more in-detailed information about the sources that go into their products. 89% will switch to a new product, and if they're not satisfied with what they're currently getting from their current provider. So let me ask you a question. By show of hands, let me ask you a question. How many of you would switch to a new provider if they provided more transparency to the food that you eat? During our focus groups, we have a lot of hands going up, and I'm sure there's a lot of hands going up as well. Next slide, please. Thank you. And how we make money. We're a revenue subscription-based model, a software as a service, where our business customers purchase a monthly subscription based upon the number of scans they require from their consumers. So it's a very easy, very simple business model that we provide, and it's a subscription-based model for our end customers. Next slide, please. And this is our marketing plan. It has 4 components, very simple and straight up. Number 1, we have a credibility campaign. Number 2, we have an offline campaign. Number 3, we have an online campaign. And number 4, we have a publicity campaign. So we're able to answer all those questions through video, audio, PDF, as well as webinars like we're conducting now. Next slide, please. And our ask is for $10,000. We're in alpha test now, and we're going to use those funds to complete our mobile app, as well as provide a white label website widget that our business customers can use right onto their website. So it'll deliver that QR codes and tracing capability, which links back to our blockchain cloud technology that we're providing to our customers. And again, we're going to use that fund for the social outreach program. And then finally, promotional materials for farmer markets and trade shows. As consumers goes to the farmers markets, it's going to have promotional information that the farmers and the food producers and food distributors can provide to their end customers. They really appreciate the services that they're using with AgTracer. And in closing, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this. I'm asking for your vote tonight. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Sebastian, as well as myself, for any questions. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we are using Facebook Live. I know we are on YouTube, and every now and again, we get a little bit of delay when those questions come in.
Actually, one question, if I could, that we do have folks ask us is, how do we deliver, in addition to placing the QR code right on the label, what happens if a farmer is using selling fresh produce? In addition to having a QR code on the label, we're also providing zip ties that have QR code printed right on them, as well as printable paper bags that has the company-specific QR code printed right on the bag. So it's a complete end-to-end solution for our customers. Again, right on the label, if they're selling fresh produce, they can purchase bags from us with a QR code, as well as zip ties where they can zip tie the any end produce that they're providing as well. So that's a very important question. We get that question often. What happens if they do it at the farmer's market? So I wanted to answer that question as well.
No, I think that's good. I think this is really interesting. I know I just went out to eat the other day for the first time, and all their menus were already QR codes. That's how I got access to the menu. So this seems like a really easy transition to continue to do that. A question here is, how did you come up with this idea?
The consumer, and that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. My partners and I own Traverse Bay Farms. We use as much local produce as we can in our local products. And what we've been noticing over the last 3 or 4 years is folks want more transparency, more traceability to the food they eat. But most importantly is the recent COVID outbreak. And people want to know, Is their food coming from a producer? Is their food coming through a distribution company? Is their food in touch with a potential retailer that may have had a COVID outbreak? And the nice thing about our tracking and tracing capability, not only does it provide that blockchain solution for the individual ingredients, it also provides that chain of custody that's inputted to the chain as well. So they can trace back, especially with the COVID-19 outbreak. And I hope that answers your question.
I think it does. Do you have anybody else in this space that you are currently competing against?
The nice thing about this specific space, number one, there's really no clear market leader. So it's a huge opportunity, especially being in northern Michigan, right on the 45th parallel. We grow some of the best food in the planet. Michigan has a great reputation, not only here in the Midwest, but around the globe. So a food traceability and trackability company coming out of Michigan, it's a perfect solution. So to answer your question, there's no market leader for this specific niche. And that's why we're hoping for your vote to win that $500. That's why we're asking for that $10,000 funding as well, so we can keep moving forward.
It's great. One question came in here. Are any of the large food companies developing standards around tracing ingredient sources?
There are some, and that's a great question. Thank you for asking. There are some standards and protocols starting to be created, but the unfortunate thing about it is it's going to be fragmented. What we basically do is we take that together. So if you have company A with their own protocol, company B with their own protocol, there's two different protocols that have to be basically brought together. And that's where AgTracer is the solution for that. Our goal, of course, is to be the standard and the tracking and tracing capability for the ag industry.
Wonderful. Looking for another question to pop up here. So you had mentioned that this is sounded like a Northern Michigan-born idea. May I ask where you're headquartered at?
Actually, Sebastian and I, when we came up with this, he's the chief technology officer, and we're based right out of Elk Rapids at 204 River Street, right downtown Elk Rapids. So nice. We're in northern Michigan.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much, you guys. With AgTracer, stick around. We're going to have voting right at the end. And if you're about 20 minutes away from downtown Traverse City, where we can meet up with you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So we are very thankful to have a couple local folks, Andy and Sebastian LaPointe with AgTracer. And we certainly could not do what we do without our sponsors. And so we want to take a moment and recognize just a couple of those. And so Susan Safardine-Rouser with State Farm down on 8th Street. Our SCORE mentors, there's obviously quite a few SCORE mentors if you need help with your business currently and making a transition or pivot in this economy, or if you're starting up, there's quite a few SCORE folks that have been around that can help you answer questions and get moving in that direction. Obviously, the Northern Michigan Angels and all of them that have been supporting TCNewTech and many, many of our startups and presenters. And one of our newer supporting sponsors, Blake Bernard with Home Waters Real Estate. So those of you that are looking to make your way here or find a home closer to the water, Blake and his team over at Home Waters can help you out. So without further ado, we do have some announcements, and one of them is going to be from Miss Lauren Bigelow, Executive Director with 20 Fathoms. Lauren, how are you this evening?
We're doing great over here at 20 Fathoms. For those of you who don't know 20 Fathoms, we're over on the corner of State and of Park and Front Street. Our facility behind me right now. Jen, if you can pull up, we've got a great new addition to our team this month. Our community manager, Jill Gordon, has joined the team as of this Monday. She's going to be seeing
overseeing our membership services, working on outreach and communication, with social media, and our event coordination and office operations. So we're really excited to have Jill on board. For those of you who don't know 20 Fathoms, we are a great place to maximize your productivity. We've got fiber internet, conference rooms, advanced tech teleconferencing, coffee, snacks, beer on tap, and a really great community of tech-focused, supportive, creative professionals. So we're down in the steps away from the parks, multi-purpose trails, the beach, lots of restaurants and coffee shops. So it's an ideal place to have it grow, have it thrive. And a number of membership options that are available. We are full offices, but we have dedicated desks, starter memberships, as well. So we are looking for new members. We've survived COVID pretty well.
Well, thank you, everybody. It looks like we are experiencing some technical difficulties and some connection issues possibly over on that side. So I'm going to give it a quick second to catch up. And for those of you that have just joined us, we're getting a quick update from the 20 Fathoms, the Economic and Business Incubator over on the corner of Park and Front Street. Lauren Bigelow, the executive director, joined us and was giving us a quick update on where they're at and what they are looking to accomplish and make an ask to the community this evening. And my team working in the background, we can see you on your slides moving around there a little bit. So while they are getting the screen up, just let me know if you need me to read what's on the screen. I think I can fill in unless she's going to pop back on. Oh, no, I see you. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. I was just talking about the July 21st Financials and Development TC Codes class that we've got coming up. And then we've got in August, C# Fundamentals, Part 1 and Part 2, an Introduction to Bare Metal Development, and a link to 101 for students and young professionals. So follow us on social media, join our weekly email newsletter. It's got great events coming up, what we're reading in technology, but then also what we've got going on this fall. So we look forward to seeing you at 20 Fathoms sometime soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lauren. So take a visit over to 20fathoms.org and you can check out all of the events that are coming up and register to participate in those. Now I'd like to invite Adam Hoken with Pedal Cell. Adam, welcome to TCNewTech.
Hi, thanks for having me. Should I just get started now?
Yes, sir. I've got the timer and you're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you for having me here today. My name's Adam Hoken and I'm the co-founder of Pedal Cell. Our company creates the power source for bicycles. I want you to imagine that you're driving at night, something we're all familiar with, and come up on a seemingly empty intersection, but suddenly a cyclist appears. For you, the driver, this is quite scary, but for the cyclist, this is life or death. The only way cyclists could be seen at night are by using bike lights. They're their ultimate safety companion, but bike lights can run out of power, and when they do, they're life-threatening. And the reality is that cyclists use many devices besides lights while they ride. A typical commuter might have their smartphone, a dash cam on board to record near accidents, and bike locks to track their bike if they're stolen. Bike tourers might also throw on a Garmin for GPS and a battery bank to have them be powered a little longer in the wilderness. And a delivery driver for Uber Eats and Postmates. We're all too familiar with them these days, but they might also throw on a speaker to blast their tunes. Ultimately, cyclists everywhere need power It's something that's at utmost importance, but batteries alone just don't work because they need to be charged quite often. They're large and heavy. They don't really fit very well on a bicycle frame, and they have limited lifespans. In the outdoor conditions, typical battery in your phone or external battery pack lose about 80% of their capacity in 3 months. That's why we created our product, Cadence X, which is a self-generating power source for bicycles. Cadence X mounts on nearly any bicycle in minutes. We have a generator mounted on the front fork that converts a wheel's motion as it spins, and then electronics, our smart power hub mounted on the handlebars with 2 USB ports that riders could use to plug in. Cadence X is fast. It could charge phones up to 2% per minute. It could be added to nearly any existing bicycle design, or it could actually be embedded inside of a bicycle frame. Has a long outdoor lifespan, about 10 times that of any typical battery, and we have patents on the underlying technology in both domestic and international markets. Compared to your typical top-selling battery pack on Amazon, used to power a smartphone and light, that might die in about 3 days for your typical commuter, and in as little as 3 hours in continuous riding for tours and delivery drivers. Cadence X will power all these riders forever, as long as they continue to move. And on top of all that, it's durable and weather resistant thanks to automotive grade materials in our housing, and has a much longer electrical lifespan than any one of those batteries. We sell Cadence X through 2 channels. Today, we're focused on direct-to-consumer sales through our online Shopify store, as well as through select distributors. And we have business-to-business sales to fleets and certain brands, such as Trek and Specialized, we're focused on for more of the long term. Today, we're selling our product for $2.99 on our website, pedalcell.com. It'll be shipping later this summer. And to date, we have over 1,000 orders through our Shopify site for consumer sales, sales to bike door fleets. We have a contract with the Costco sold bicycle brand, and I've also done a pilot with Ford Motor Company. We've also gotten awarded by tons of different organizations, most notably the state of Illinois. I also went to the University of Michigan, just graduated recently, so go blue, and also from Northwestern University. Our marketplace is massive. There are over 1 billion bicycles globally, and we're not focused on all of them. In fact, we're only focused on tourers and commuter riders. But even so, that addressable market is over $45 billion. And so while we're focused on these niche riders today, there are tons of rooms for growth and a large opportunity. Long term, we hope to decrease our product costs, actually having a lower price point and being in larger distributors such as REI, integrating with brands such as Trek or Specialized. So you go into a bike shop, have Cadence X built in from the get-go, and even focus on other modes of mobility some might be familiar with. Our technology has many applications. We've raised over $300,000 to date and are now raising a $1.5 million seed round to mostly focus on performance marketing. Our product's developed, the market is proven, and we have something no one else has. And so we want to get going on our performance marketing campaign online and to ultimately dominate our beachhead and to start establishing relationship with retailers and B2B customers. We've assembled a well-rounded team with over 20 years of aggregate consumer product experience to ultimately bring our product to life and lead the bicycle on its next term. Thank you so much for your time, and I would love to hear your question.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Adam. So we're going to get some questions loaded in here. For those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can post your questions right in the live comment section. So while we're waiting for those to load, is there a common question that you get asked that you want to answer for our audience tonight, Adam?
Sure. So I think a typical one we get is, what are the alternatives out there? You know, like this product costs $300, you know, is that like a competitive price or something? And so there's really 2 alternatives. The first are called bicycle dynamos. They've been around since the 1800s, but their power is very weak. They take about 9 hours to fully charge a phone. They require professional installation that takes upwards of 3 hours, and they cost well over $650. So our product is under half the price and offers 6 times the performance of any of those. And it's an all-in-one, easy-to-use solution that can be added to any bike in minutes. Solar panels too can be sometimes considered, but they're quite unstable. They have a limited lifespan, and there's no real place to mount them on a bike. And so compared to those bike dynamos, here's our power graph. You can see it's quite significantly higher, and that's due to our patented architecture and our custom generator.
Great. So there's a question now. How are you marketing your product today, and what is your 5-year marketing expansion plan?
That is an excellent question. So today what we're focused on is we've done some tests with D2C marketing, and really what it comes down to is our optimization for our marketing is really what's going to drive growth. So we have a really good marketing guru on our team. His name's David, and we're using Facebook ads and Google ads to ultimately market directly to those niche beachhead users, which are the bike tours and super commuters, as we call them. And so paid per click ads. And the real thing to note here is with our strategy is that cycling, there's almost no performance marketing in cycling. And so the average cost per click is about a third of that of any other industry, but engagement is 30% higher. So to get ROI on this industry is not too difficult, especially if you have a product that is quite unique like ours. I know a bike light company that got 20 times return on a Facebook ad, and that's just for a bike light. And we're really focused on getting product reviews. So we have about Wired Magazine, Bicycling Magazine, and a whole host of others who are going to be reviewing our product. And that's really going to drive growth, because the first thing you do after you see a product online or an ad is you see who else has used it. And so we're doing that along with a bunch of influencers online.
Great. So Paul would like to know, what is your IP protection?
Sure. So we have a patent that's granted to us in the US. Here, I could go to our slide there. And really what it has to do is with load sharing with supercapacitors. So basically, if we have an unstable energy source, basically this slide here, the unstable energy source from a bicycle, and then we stabilize it. But our patent covers any unstable energy source. So whether you're talking about a solar panel or a wind farm, it could be applied to nearly anything, which is pretty cool. And it's specifically with supercapacitors. So supercapacitors are like batteries, but they have millions of charge-discharge cycles versus hundreds. So this allows us to last much longer outdoors, and they're much more compact and higher efficient. And so we filed in the US, or granted in the US, and we're filed in Europe, Canada, and Australia right now, and it's going through the process there.
There was a question that popped through. They asked if you have a light source that will be available with the battery.
That's a good question. So first of all, there's no battery in our product. I think it's important to note. We have no battery built into our product because nearly any light or phone, whatever you plug into our device, will have a battery built into it already. And so again, the problem to solve here was power on the go and converting that unstable energy into something useful. We chose not to have batteries in our product because they have limited lifespan. So even though over time your phone or your light might degrade in lifespan, our product itself will stay good for like 10 times as long. We might consider selling a light in the future, but nearly any USB light you can buy on Amazon is compatible right now. Chances are your bike light will work perfectly fine with our product, which is why we've chosen not to initially. But long term, that's a great idea.
And that kind of tees up to the next question that says, will the parts wear out? And the second question was the touch point to the wheel. Okay.
So I think I'll touch on the first one, wearing out. We use automotive grade components that you would have in a car. We use nylon 30 glass plastic along with aluminum. These are very strong. We've tested it outdoors, rain, sleet, snow, you name it. We're in Chicago. We've dealt with it, and we've tested it in Ann Arbor, Michigan, actually with pedicabs nonstop. And we've actually driven into a bicycle fork at 40 miles an hour, has not broken, made to be tough. And we also could opt for theft preventative bolts. So it's going to be very hard to steal the product. In terms of the touch point, it's a small O-ring that touches the rim. It can be disconnected at any time. So if you choose not to use it, you don't have to. But it's a small O-ring. It's compatible with nearly any bicycle rim as long as it's not carbon. Because people use carbon, they tend to be competitive, so they're not interested in our product. And carbon rims aren't good at building up heat and from sideways load. So chances are, if you have an average bicycle rim, it'll work perfectly fine with our product.
Great. We have one last question as we are out of time for this here. Paul would like to know, what are your revenue forecasts for 2020, 2021, 2022, if you're comfortable sharing?
Reach out to me, Adam@pedalcell.com. We can talk more.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Stick around. We'll get your contact information back up there and we'll get some voting and maybe see you at the meetup after the event tonight.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Adam.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
All right, so we can't do this without our in-kind sponsors, so a couple more to recognize. This is Kelly Ignis. She's also a board member, and with Workshop 67, she does web design and support. All of the many in-kind sponsors that we have. Are we going to switch the screen? There we go. Thank you. Are listed here. And we're going to have an update from one of our no, we're not. We're not having an update. We're going to get right to Lon Johnson with Waterworks Fund. Welcome to TCNewTech. Lon, how are you this evening?
Let me share the screen here. There we go. Well, thank you. I want to thank TCNewTech and everyone and all the sponsors and all the participants for being on here. My name is Lon Johnson. I'm the co-founder of Waterworks. And before I get into what Waterworks is, I'd like to talk for a moment about Northern Michigan and our history of helping to lead the world. We have a long history of leading, and initially it was on international trade. It was fur trade. Fur trade helped bring commerce to America, and then later copper and iron ore out of the mining out of the UP. Then later with lumber, and those were all natural resource plays. And now we have one of the biggest natural resource challenges in the history of mankind coming down the pike, and that's water. And I think Northern Michigan can help play a role in leading and showing the world how to use and protect fresh water. And that's in part what Waterworks is about. So with that, I'd like to just get right to it. Waterworks is a new way to invest in water. What we're about is we seek to advance potential water solutions by introducing people to investment opportunities in technology companies and projects seeking capital at waterworksfund.com. In short, it's where water companies and projects seeking capital can meet investors seeking opportunity, and a potential transaction could take place. Look, we believe our water problems are coming at a pace and scale we're too often not prepared for. When we take a look, and we believe that, looking at our aging infrastructure, our climate change, limited public dollars, population growth, it too often results in a number of pretty negative outcomes. Water scarcity, where supply and demand aren't meeting, damage to our ocean health or lake health, infrastructure failure, or watershed pollution. But we don't. It doesn't have to be that way. There are smart people out there doing smart things, using the latest technology of AI and IoT and new materials and data. But too often, those companies, run into problems when they're trying to raise startup capital. Primarily, we think that stumbling comes from a lack of early stage investors for water solution companies, which ultimately slows the development and adoption of needed technology in the sector. Also, when you look at institutional investment models, the 2 and 20, for an example, hinder the sourcing and the due diligence and transaction and management of small investments. On the other side, on the investor side, there's limited water sector investment exposure and opportunities for both accredited and retail investors. These are the problems we think face financing and investment into water. Our solution is really, if I could show you one slide about what we're trying to do, it's this. We believe by democratizing water investment opportunities for investors and access to capital for potential solution providers, we will help create an ever-expanding community to drive potential water solutions to scale. So really, you're looking at a water community with investors and water financing demand coming in and meeting at Waterworks and seeing how we can advance potential solutions. I get asked a lot, well, what do you mean by water? Why just water? Waterworks seeks to offer debt and equity investments in the water sector. And so we built this little word cloud here so you can understand the many sectors within water that we would seek to put up investments for. Everything from reducing plastics to to ocean energy, to financing water tech pilots, to public-private partnerships. The list goes on and on. On the investor side of the equation, there are a multitude of targets that we would seek to go after. Existing crowdfunding investors, be that donation, rewards, or equity-based, activist investors, water, environment, and impact investors, or institutional investors, venture capital, private equity, foundations, family offices, or offering specifics. So when a company seeks to raise capital on our site, they can work to go and target and message their own communities. Our revenue model is pretty straightforward. We receive both cash and equity, and some marketing fees. But literally, and really, what we're looking at is expanded. The value is the deal flow generation and the water investor network and the scale potential of what we're trying to do. We've built a very strong operations team. I'm a proud husband. My wife, Juliana Smoot, and co-founder, was Barack Obama's national finance director in 2008. We've got a very strong compliance and legal team and business development. We helped to transition political fundraising from the analog, the chicken dinners and the PACs and the lobbyists into a digital world. And we seek to do that for water investing as well. Some of our advisory team members have played leadership roles in some pretty big organizations, whether it's the EPA, the White House, the SBA, State of Michigan, Department of the Army, or California Water Commission, or on other national campaigns. Our leadership team is made up of people from across the country. Really, we divide them into three sort of areas. We've got water, professionals in the water space, professionals in the finance space, and professionals in the digital marketing space. Thing that what we're most proud of really is the team that we're building. We've developed partnerships with water accelerators around the country, so they're helping us to introduce us to their communities and to potential companies seeking to raise capital. Our big picture growth, ultimately what we're trying to do is to create a nationwide network of water investors. So imagine for a moment, if we could create 100,000 strong water investor base, and then also start to move into either place-based or tech-based water sector investment funds, and ultimately create a platform where problems could be presented, solutions created, and operations financed all on one website. And that's sort of our big picture growth of where we'd like to go. Stepping back, we're combining three subjects: sustainable investing, online investing, and water finance demand. That's Waterworks. We can't wait. Water can't wait, not for government spending, banks, or philanthropy. We think, we're building a community of change, and we'd ask you to consider joining us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. We do have some questions that have come in. Paul would like to know, Nestle ships a lot of groundwater outside of the state and pays very little for it. Do you see that business model succeeding in the future?
Well, I'm going to first start with our ethics. We don't list any investment on our site. We won't list any investment on our site that seeks to buy water, sell water, or privatize it. So we're leading with our ethics, number one. So I really can't speak to what Nestle and the government's doing here, but that is not in our business plan, or would we seek to finance any kind of operation like that. It's a good question and a big problem.
Next question here from Pete Schroeder says, based on ROI, how are you articulating why you are better than other angel funds?
Look, angel funds and other investors have their place. By no means are we, in fact, trying to compete with them. We're trying to give companies seeking to raise capital the ability to create their own terms and to list their own investment, and to then put that up and advertise that fact to their own networks. So, this is not about trying to compete with other funds or any other sorts of funding. We're just trying to allow companies to raise capital under their own terms and from networks that they'd like to go out and create.
All right, thank you. We have about 1 minute left. If anybody has a burning question that they want to post either on your Facebook watch party or YouTube. Do you have any frequently asked questions, Lon?
How does this work? This came about because of a law was changed in 2012 called the Jobs Act. Now, that Jobs Act allowed privately held companies to raise investment capital online. Not only did it allow that transaction to be conducted online, but it allowed for non-accredited investors to make investments through FINRA-membered portals.
Do you have it says, what is your ideal customer?
Okay, I'll be quick on this last question. On the investor side, we're looking for investors that are looking either an impact investor who's looking to, have their values and their investment match, or on the, company seeking capital side, we're looking for a company that is producing a product or a service that's helping the world use water more efficiently.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lon. With Waterworks, please stick around. We are going to have voting at the end of the presentations. And for those of you who did not see the beginning, you're going to need your cell phone to do that, and we'll give you instructions. We are also going to be providing a location for a in-person meetup following tonight's event. We'd like to welcome Camille Hoisington with Traverse Connect with a quick update. Welcome, Camille. How are you tonight?
How are you? Thanks for having me. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Lisa, can you see my slides?
I am muted, but yes, I can see your slide.
Okay, great. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Camille Hoisington. I'm Head of Strategic Projects at Traverse Connect. I'm here this evening to give you the latest update from Traverse Connect and specifically to highlight our latest initiative, which we're calling Michigan's Creative Coast. So in case you're not familiar with Traverse Connect is the lead economic development organization for the Grand Traverse region. And a key strategy to growing our region's economy is talent attraction and talent retention. So with some funding from the Michigan Film and Digital Media Office's Creative Chambers initiative, we want to build on our well-developed creative industry and art sector by leading the charge to enhance the creative economy in the Grand Traverse region. Creative Coast is a new placemaking initiative which will attract creative and innovative business to the region, highlight existing creative and entrepreneurial culture, and attract and retain creative and cultural talent. So what does creative really mean to us? Well, creative sectors are everything from advertising, marketing, architecture, design, performing arts, to creative technologies such as software engineering, app development, and UX design. Creative Coast defines our region as ripe for innovation, entrepreneurship, and people who want to create their own lives and schedules. So think remote workers and entrepreneurial freelancers. So here's a glimpse of what we've got coming up and what we've already got started on with Creative Coast. So last week, we launched a 12-part Creative Coast podcast series, and each episode airs weekly and features stories from entrepreneurs working in the diverse array of creative sectors in the Grand Traverse region. You can find the podcast on all the podcast apps. You just have to type Creative Coast. And you can also visit our website, and the link is at the bottom of this slide. We're also excited to announce that the podcast series will begin airing on Interlochen Public Radio starting this Friday, July 10th from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Another opportunity that we have is our Creative Coast Scholarship for creative professionals to participate in the Leadership Grand Traverse program. These scholarships will cover 90% of the participants' fees. Applications are currently open and must be received by this Friday, July 10th at noon. We're also partnering with the Boardman Review to power the production of a directory intended to highlight the many creative professionals growing their enterprises in the region. Again, creative sectors encompasses a broad range of industries, including creative technology, software, and app development. So if you'd like to see yourself or somebody else featured in the directory, submit a nomination by Wednesday, July 15th at noon. And coming this fall, we're also going to be launching a new regional talent attraction and recruitment website. The website will include a jobs board to highlight careers in the Northern Michigan region and will be free for employers to post jobs. And finally, so here's my call to action. Get involved and sign up for our newsletter. You can do this. You can apply for a Creative Coast scholarship, nominate yourself or somebody else for the Creative Coast directory, and listen to our amazing new podcast series, all by clicking the link that you're seeing on your screens right now. Thanks for listening, everyone. Over and out.
Thanks for being here, Camille. Thank you, Traverse Connect, for your update. Exciting news. Moving along in the program, we are going to welcome Miss Catalina Kayerwangs with Loan Sense. Hi, Catalina. How are you today? She's worth the wait tonight, folks. There she is. Hi, Catalina. How are you tonight?
Hello. May I be heard?
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Let me know when.
You're live. Go for it. Looks
Great.
good.
So I'm Catalina, the CEO and co-founder of Loan Sense. We're a student loan repayment engine powering products and programs borrowers are already engaged in. So forget the days where borrowers have to go to a confusing federal government website to understand what they're supposed to do with their federal loans. I'm going to present today the problem, our solution, how we make money, our team, and our ask. So as you all may know, we have a 1.7 trillion in student debt, 45 million Americans, okay? With those in their 30s holding 1/3 of all student loan debt, with the national payoff at the age of 43 years old. The new financial reality of our generation, my generation, is that we're shackled by debt. Amanda represents, she's a clinical social worker and she represents public servants, which make up the third largest workforce in the United States. That's schools, hospital systems, municipal, local government, right? Amanda in the healthcare profession, she has 150,000 of student loan debt, which 50% of healthcare workers have 1.5 to 2 times the amount of student debt as they earn in annual income, okay? So that's a huge problem. Loan Sense tech enables student loan debt reduction, solving the largest financial stressor of our generation, files for borrowers into the right plan, and help them save thousands of dollars through federal programs, okay? So in the borrowing journey, a borrower may start school, they graduate, right? The problems we solve are for 25 to 35-year-olds who graduate and take their first job to the time they buy their first house and potentially start their own family. This is the sweet spot for Loan Sense when we intervene. What are the problems we're solving for Amanda specifically? For example, we help borrowers get prior payments counted they've already made towards loan forgiveness. Public servants can get their loans forgiven after 120 payments. We refile any rejected paperwork so they can access tens of thousands of dollars of forgiveness. Last week, Loan Sense helped a doctor get back $117,000 from the US Treasury he paid extra on, okay? We advise borrowers when they get married on the best repayment plan. We reduce their debt to income ratio, increasing their credit score and making them mortgage ready, right? And that's so important because debt to income ratio often makes that prohibitive, right? Student loans. So how do we make money doing this? We have a pliable technology solution and it's on our own portal, as well as have solution that can plug into our partners' portals. We are a service ultimately for our end user. We charge the end user, we file for them, liaise all the way to their HR to get signatures, and we do it correctly. We also have a digital counseling and in-person, a digital counseling service with a price range that varies based on the channel we receive the borrower from, okay? So we could go market on various digital marketing platforms, but we opt to market through channels. The mortgage tech industry is very interested right now because 60% of first-time home buyers have student loan debt, and credit consolidation, credit counseling agencies do not help or specialize with student loan debt. Then we have a channel in the continuing education space, such as nurse.org, white coat investors that want to help their audience members understand and have better content around student loans. We already secured a $250,000 contract with the University of Michigan and are currently piloting with a 15-clinic hospital system in Missouri. So we 4X'd our revenue from April to May. In June, we secured this $250,000 contract with University of Michigan. We have a $1.4 million contract pending. We established affiliate relationships in the mortgage industry, and now we're looking really to close our round of investment so we can prepare for launch and growth in August and September. So now our team. I am an MBA from Ross School of Business, former Gates-funded education policy fellow, have expertise in this arena, and have teamed up with my CTO who left StockX, a Detroit-based unicorn where he led 12 engineers, to be the technology platform of the future for student loan borrowers. And of course, we have a 20-year veteran in the mortgage industry, Lauren, who was on earlier, and 3-time exited fintech executive. So we have expertise. Our ask today, we're raising $500,000 to really increase our product margins and digitize our entire process. Together, please join us so we can help change the outcomes of borrowers and those that we need most in our society: teachers, social workers, nurses, etc. I love to welcome questions now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I do see a couple of questions coming through. Let's see where we're going to start. Well, what is your 3-year revenue forecast?
So that's a really good question. Right now, we're forecasting the end of this year for $500,000. That's including the contract we're in negotiation with right now of 1.4. Obviously, realized revenue, that's a multiple year contract. Next year, we hope to 3x that, and the following year, 3x that, and the following year, 10x that. So essentially, we're entering different channels. Like the mortgage tech industry can utilize our a widget model or API model to directly plug into their technology solution. So I dream of a world, right, where the vanguards of the world, where financial technology solutions as well as mortgage tech solutions automatically consider your student loans and help you adjust them or restructure them so that you can afford their core products. Should I take the next question? What milestones? Oh, okay, milestones, precisely. The milestones we need right now is all for a product to increase our product margins, and how we increase our product margins is it's semi-automated. Our filing is semi-automated. Product engineers helping us automate the entire process so that when we launch with nurse.org that has 1 million readers a month, and let's say 20,000 want our filing solution, we have a fully automated process and system in place. So it's really to help us increase our product margin so we have less human touch with each one of our services. And it will also help us build out our a more digitized counseling service. So that is what our 500,000 will help us achieve. And of course, to deliver on the $250,000 contract we already received and obviously have not been paid yet, but we'll need to start servicing that client. What runway will 500 give us? That will give us about 18 months of runway because we already raised, I raised about 125 in non-dilutive funding while I was an MBA. So I got a bit of a head start. And my co-founder didn't come full-time until this past February. So he worked without earning anything until this past February. So that helped us expand our runway as well.
Great. We have about 10 seconds. So I think unless another question sneaks in, We'll be good to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Catalina. And please stick around to the end when we will vote and announce our local meetup location.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we are at the end. So everybody that has been holding their phones, waiting with anticipation, directions are currently on the screen. For those that have stepped away that are maybe listening on your AirPod, you want to text your vote to 203-529-8755. So 203-529-8755. If you want to vote for Ag Tracer, you need to enter AA, and that's capital AA. For Petal Cell, you'll want to enter capital BB. Waterworks, you'll enter capital CC, or Loan Sense, capital DD. And again, you'll need to text your vote. You can see my big face, so I'm glad that I gave you the phone number. It looks like the phone number and directions are also in your live comment section. So if you are on Facebook or YouTube, just look in the comment section. And now you can see back on the screen, we are going to do a live presentation. Everybody's votes are coming in very quickly, and we do have a very close call. So keep them coming in. You still have about 1 minute and 26 seconds to get those votes coming in. So encourage your friends and family to participate. So while the voting is going, I want to remind everybody that we do have a jobs board. So TCNewTech.org is a website, obviously. And on that website, there is a job board. So along the top-hand side, you'll see job board. You can click through there. And as an employer, you can list jobs that are available. As an employee, you can put your resume or any other information that you might be seeking to learn. And we'd like to welcome you to participate in that job board. And the voting slide is about 42 seconds. So again, you want to text your vote to 203-529-8755. And we're looking at it in real time if you're joining us, and it is jumping around quite a bit. So that's kind of fun to watch. We're going to be...
I wanted to also, I want to thank you for bearing with me through some of the technical difficulties tonight. We're at a new location at 20 Fathoms, which is an incredible facility and a great work share space, and love being here. And I think now we finally have our technology figured out. So it's been really fun, but I'm ready to head to Little Fleet. And who is our winner? Looks like our winner is Adam with Petal Cell.
Congratulations, Adam.
Where is
Thanks,
he?
everyone. Wow, that's insane. Thank you.
You got your camera turned off, Adam.
Oh, there we go. We should be back now.
All right. We want to see your celebrating. I wish you were here in Traverse City. Where are you located today?
We're in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, we're located in Chicago. We're actually right at the office now. Here's my co-founder, Vishal. We're hard at work, actually. Yeah, doing some product testing. So some multitasking going on. But yeah, wow. Thank you so much. I heard about this competition about a month ago, and I went to school in Ann Arbor. So I was in Michigan for about 4 years. Yeah, and they had TCNewTech there.
Right.
Yeah. So I would go to those all the time as a student. And it was such an awesome time. It's like amazing. And I know the Traverse City one too. I've heard of it. So I'm very glad I had the chance to connect and present here tonight. It was fantastic, and I'm honored to win. Thank you so much. It was really a great experience.
Hopefully you can come up and visit us when we are doing our in-person events.
Yeah, no,
I know,
absolutely.
Yeah, good. All right, well, congratulations, Adam, and thank you, everybody, for coming this evening and listening to our event. And we so appreciate all of our sponsors and all of the participants. So we will see you again next month, August is our next one more virtual event, as far as we know, and that is a very exciting Michigan Tech University takeover event. So if we have any MTU fans out there, then be sure to tune in August for our August event. But thank you all very much. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Adam, and all of the presenters tonight. And we will see you next time.
Thanks,
Have
everyone.
a great night.
Good night. See you at Little Fleet.
Good night.